The module of metabolism consists of the important topic of laws of thermodynamics. Today, our topic of discussion is laws of thermodynamics. Okay, so we all know about these laws in our class 12 standard. We have read about in the chemistry, but in this biology section, we will be brushing up the same thing, but in the point of view of biology. Okay, so let us start with the today's topic. Okay. Now, what does the term thermodynamics means? Let us discuss about that first. Thermodynamics is a branch of physics concerned with heat and temperature and their relation to energy and work. Okay, and it defines macroscopic variables such as internal energy, entropy, pressure that partly describes a body of or a matter of radiation. Okay. So what is happening? Basically, thermodynamics is not a branch of chemistry, as I've told you. It is mainly a branch of physics only. Actually, thermodynamics is such a thing which relates both physics and chemistry. Actually, the chemical reactions are undergoing these thermodynamical processes, but which has been again explained by the physics people. Okay, so this is a intermediate, or you can say a uh, interdependent subject of both physics and chemistry. Okay, now thermodynamics is a branch of physics concerned with heat and temperature. That means this branch of science mainly deals with what are the changes coming up with the heat and temperature, and as well as the energy of work. What are the work we are doing in relation to the temperature and pressure as well as heat is known as the thermodynamics. Okay, so it defines macroscopic variables such as internal energy, entropy, pressure. Actually, when we are talking about thermodynamics, we need to know some terms like entropy, internal energy, pressure. All these things are very important. It states that the behavior of those variables is subject to general constraint that are common to all materials, not the peculiar properties of particular materials. That means it is the in general property of all the matters. They all the matter, be it gaseous or liquid state, follow these laws of thermodynamics. Thermodynamics describes the bulk behavior of the body, not the microscopic behavior. The very large number of microscopic constituents such as molecules. That means, sorry, this law mainly deals with the, this subject mainly deals with the bulk of the body matter, not the whole thing. They are not dealing with the microscopic detailing. They are mainly dealing with the bulk of the subject. Okay, so bulk of the material, how they are behaving, that things are taken into consideration, not the whole body. Okay, not the microscopic bodies. Okay, now its laws are explained by statistical mechanics in terms of microscopic constituents. Okay, but when we are explaining the laws, we are going down to the microscopic level, because microscopic level are mainly responsible for carrying out the particular type of reactions. Okay, so all this phenomenon is being explained by thermodynamics in our real life. Okay, so coming to the first law of thermodynamics, mainly this law of thermodynamics is related to the mainly the laws of conservation of energy. The first law explains mainly the conservation of energy. Now, while explaining the first law, what does it states about? The increase in internal energy of a closed system is equal to the heat supplied of the system minus work done by it. Okay, that means what is happening? The increase in internal energy of a closed system is equal to heat supplied to the system minus the work done. Okay. Suppose you are considering a system. What is system? A particular region in which some energy transfer is going on. Okay. That region is known as the system. Okay. Now the remaining places which is present except the system is known as the surroundings. Okay, these two terms are very important in thermodynamics: system and surrounding. Surrounding are the area which is present except our system areas in the environment is known as the surrounding. The increase in internal energy of a closed system is equal to the heat supplied to the system minus work done. That what does it mean? Del U always denote the internal energy. Now the change in internal energy is equivalent to actually the internal energy changes. Okay, so this change del, that means the change in internal energy is equal to the heat supplied to the system. Q is the heat supplied to the system minus the work done. What is the work done? It is the W. So heat sup heat supplied to the system minus the work done is known as the change in internal energy. So this explains the first law of thermodynamics. Now the first law encompasses some important points, like here the law explains the laws of conservation of energy. Actually, this law follows the law of conservation of energy. Then concept of internal energy and its relationship to temperature. That means how the internal energy is related to temperature and your mainly the relationship between the temperature and energy. See, E total Ke system plus Pe system plus U system. Okay, that means total energy of any system is equal to Ke means kinetic energy of the system, potential energy of the system, and finally the internal energy. As you have seen in the previous slide, in this slide, U means the internal energy, del U means change in internal energy. So the whole system conservation is being maintained by considering that the whole system, if the energy of the whole system is E total, then kinetic energy, that is multiplied to the E system, that means K E system, kinetic energy of the system, potential energy of the system, as well as the internal energy of the system constitute the total energy present. Okay, the flow of heat is in the form of heat energy transfer. That means when heat flow from one place to another, it changes the energy transfer is taking place. Work is a process of transferring energy to or from a system. That means work is being done to process a particular amount of energy. So that is known as the uh, that is being subtracted from the total heat. Combining this principle leads to one traditional statement of the first law of thermodynamics. That means, so when we are considering the previous points, we are coming down to one conclusion. That is the law of thermodynamics. It states that it is not possible to construct a machine which will perpetually output work without an equal amount of energy input to that machine. That means you cannot construct a machine which will give you an output which is exactly equal to the input. That means, more briefly, a perpetual motion machine is impossible. That means you cannot design a machine which will give you 100% output when you are putting in 100% of input. Okay, that is the main thing of the law. Now moving on to the second law, that is second law of thermodynamics, entropy of an isolated system. The first one was the conservation of energy. Second one is the second energy is law is known as the sorry, the second law is known as the entropy of an isolated system. Now what happens, first of all, we have came across a new term, that is entropy. Let us explain that term first, then we will be moving on to the second law. Okay, now entropy means, entropy is an extensive property. It has the dimension of energy divided by temperature. That means joule per kelvin. These are joule per degree Celsius. This is the main unit of the entropy, and this unit is universal unit. Basically, it has an international also system of units. That means the energy per unit of temperature is given by the constant, and it is known as the entropy. But the entropy of a pure substance is equally given as an intensive property, either entropy per unit mass or entropy per unit amount of substances. That means you are entropy of a pure substance is given by X. That means either entropy per unit mass or per unit amount of substance. Nothing in the second point now explains what is the unit of the entropy. The unit of the entropy is mainly the joule per kg, or it can be also, so not joule per Kelvin, and if it is on the unit mass, it is known as joule per Kelvin per kg. Okay, or unit per unit amount, entropy per unit amount for the substance, or joule per Kelvin per mole. This is about the units. Now entropy of an isolated system never decreases. Such a system will spontaneously evolve towards thermodynamic equilibrium, the configuration with maximum entropy. Okay, so what happens? Entropy does not get decreased in a particular system, isolated system. It will always remain in a maximum state. So maximum entropy is always reached in a particular place, and systems that are not isolated will decrease in the systems that are isolated may decrease in the entropy, provided they increase the entropy of their environment by at least the same amount. What happens then that are not isolated, that means may decrease in entropy provided they increase the entropy of their particular place. Okay, what is happening here? The entropy of the particular entropy of a particular ISO system may decrease in but provided they increase the entropy of their environment, but by at least the same amount. Okay, so what is happening that uh, your system may provide when system is not isolated, decrease of entropy may occur. But in the first line, you can see in the isolated system, decrease in entropy never happens, but increase in entropy occurs, provided they increase the entropy of the environment by at least the same amount. That means what is happening, the system which is not isolated, that means it is not confined from all the sides, is mainly controlled by the amount of entropy increase or decreased. Okay, now second law of thermodynamics again, since entropy is a state of function, the change in the entropy of a system is the same for any process that goes from a given initial state to a given final state. That means entropy is a state of function again, and it is true for all the type of systems. Irreversible process increases the combined entropy of the system and its environment. Okay, that means irreversible process, reversible. The process, if it is irreversible, it will combine energy. Okay, so now coming to the laws again, we have in the last 2 to 3 slides we try to explain what are the what do we mean by the term entropy, and how these entropies are changing in the isolated system, and how they are adjusting with the environment in a non-isolated system. So these are all about the basic terminology of second law of thermodynamics. Now moving on to the main law, the according to the second law of thermodynamics, in a theoretical and frictional reversible heat transfer, an element of heat transfer, del Q, is the product of the temperature T, both of the system and the source of destination of the heat, with increment ds. Okay. Now the system's conjugate variable is its entropy S. Okay. Now del Q is equal to T into T del ds. Del S. That means what? Here Q is the amount of heat transferred. Okay, del Q is the small amount of heat transfer as you are taking the microscopic units. T is the constant temperature, and del S means change in entropy. Change in entropy is occurring here, and what is happening? Del S is the entropy. That means del S is the change in entropy at a particular point. So the second law states that the change in heat of any heat transfer, the change in heat transfer in a particular system mainly occurs by means of your product of temperature and change in entropy. This explains all about your second law of thermodynamics. Okay, so uh, that's all about your laws of thermodynamics. We are not going into the third law of thermodynamics. There is another law in your syllabus. It is mentioned only the first law and the second law you have to read about. This is all about your laws of thermodynamics. And now moving on to this next section, that is what are chemical reactions. Basically the while explaining the thermodynamics, you need to explain what are chemical reactions, because in chemical reactions, all these changes in the uh, all these changes mainly in the form of the your change in heat, change in internal energy, all this occurs in the form of different laws. The first laws I have already explained, the first law of thermodynamics. Second is also explained. First law is mainly based on the law of conservation of energy, and second law is based on the mainly what the entropy of an isolated system. These are the two important points covered under the different laws of thermodynamics. Now, to understand the laws of thermodynamics, you always need to understand the laws of not the laws, the chemical reactions. All chemical reactions involve bond breaking and bond forming. Okay, so chemical reactions is always accompanied by changes in the chemical involving bond breaking and bond forming. Okay, some bond is breaking down and some bond is being formed. So this particular type of a phenomenon is always occurring inside a chemical reaction. Energy is needed to break the bonds and release when the bonds are formed. So basically, it is again the term endothermic, exothermic is coming. In the next topic, we will be discussing about these two terms, endothermic reaction and exothermic reaction. What does this two term means? Now, as we have told that in the chemical reaction, the bonds are being formed and bonds are being broken down. So, all this phenomenon requires huge amount of energy. Energy is required to break the bond, but when new type of bonds are formed, then they release the energy. Okay, now, chemical reactions are accompanied by change in energy, change mainly in the format of heat. So, chemical reactions takes place through different changes occurring inside the particular place. But the main thing which is changing, which is following the chemical reactions, is known as the change in energy. Okay, so the mainly in the chemical reaction, changes are being taking place in the form of your energy change, and the energy change is mainly in the form of the heat energy. Okay, so this is about what are the chemical reactions and what are the concepts revolving around this particular type of reaction, exothermic reaction and endothermic reaction. These two terms are also very important. What does this two term means? A reaction which in which heat is given out is known as exothermic reaction, and a reaction in which heat is taken in is known as endothermic reaction. So basically there are two types of reactions occurring in nature. One is exothermic, that means when the particular reaction has occurred, the huge amount of heat is being released by the component. So that type of reaction is known as exothermic reaction. Now another type of reaction is there, that is known as the endothermic reaction, in which the heat is taken in. That means when the any chemical reaction occurs by taking of heat inside and not dissipating or throwing out outside the system is known as endothermic reaction. So basically these two concepts are running side by side. Now exothermic and endothermic reactions, what are the difference? A change in chemical energy when energy heat exits the system. A change in chemical energy when heat enters the system. What happens in exothermic reactions? Mainly, heat is being released, as I've already told. So there are a huge change in the chemical energy, and in the next point, what is they are saying? They are saying that yes, the particular reaction has released heat. So that particular type of reaction is known as the exothermic endothermic reaction, as they are taking energy inside them, and exothermic is when they are releasing the energy outside of their body. So results in decrease in chemical potential energy. Okay, what happens in exothermic reaction? The energy is being released at potential chemical energy, and results in an increase in chemical potential energy. Okay, so you can see this graph here. What is happening? This is the energy in y-axis, and x-axis is the how they are the thing are being flowing. Okay, so this is the reactant energy. Del H is the here, I mean the heat required in change in entropy. then del H is negative as the energy of the reactant decreases in the exothermic reaction. So the products have been formed. See the energy level here, the energy level is so high, but when they are carrying the product, the energy level is low. So the net energy level is negative. So in this diagram, see what happens, reactant energy is far less than the product's energy. So this extra amount of energy is absorbed by the system, and this is so the del H is positive here, and so this type of reaction is known as the endothermic reaction. So this is all about your endothermic and exothermic reactions. With this topic, today's lecture we will end today. Okay, thank you, students.